And I will be interviewing my father for his college life. So my first question today would be, what college did you attend?
I attended several colleges. The first college I attended was Ventura Junior College, and I went there for 3 years. I lived at home, and then I transferred to UCSB, where I did 2 years um, to get my bachelor's degree, and then I did another year to get my teaching credential.
So what was your major throughout your college life?
So the major that I had was called liberal studies, and a liberal studies degree. The reason I took liberal studies was I was going into teaching. So in order to fulfill the requirements for my teaching credential program, which was for a bilingual credential, I took liberal studies because I had to take several Chicano studies classes and I had to take several Spanish classes. In addition to that, my third emphasis was history. So therefore, I was a liberal studies major.
So what was the highest degree that you got into throughout college?
Well, after I graduated from UCSB, I went to become a teacher for 2 years in Santa Barbara, and then I started teaching in the LA area. And after 4 years of teaching, I went back to college to get my master's degree in educational administration, and I got that from Cal State University LA. And that took me 3 years to complete. But the reason it took 3 years was because I was also working full time as a teacher.
So where did you live throughout your college life?
Well, for undergrad, before I started working, my first 3 years I lived at home, and I went when I was going to Ventura Junior College. But then after that, I moved up to UCSB, and I lived in several apartments throughout the 3 years that I was there. For the 2 years that it took to get my bachelor's degree, I lived in apartments, and then actually the final year I lived in student housing. But these weren't dorms; these were student apartments for the year that I had to stay there to do my teaching credential.
So how were you able to pay for your college?
Well, we didn't have a lot of money in my family. My parents didn't have a lot of money to for college, so I applied for financial aid, and I did get a nice package for financial aid to pay for my tuition and part of my housing. But I was also given something called the bilingual teacher grant, which paid for a lot of my undergraduate and my teaching credential year over at UCSB. So I was fortunate enough to get financial aid and also to get my the what is called the bilingual teacher grant, which paid for most of my college. And then I also was able to get a scholarship from Ventura College for having good grades. That helped me pay for my books. It was called the Academic Senate Scholarship. And then I was able to take out a few loans, nothing big. By the end of college, I owed like maybe $4,000, which I was actually able to write off when I became a teacher. So I actually didn't even have to pay that back. I was able to write it off because I was got a job in the inner city, and so they wrote off that loan for me, and I didn't have to pay it back.
So what classes do you remember taking throughout college?
Well, some of my most interesting classes were my Spanish classes because my Spanish was okay, but I think it helped me become more proficient in reading and writing in Spanish, and it helped me to become a bilingual teacher. Aside from that, some of the Chicano studies classes I took that were in along the lines of bilingual education were very interesting. It taught me the importance of why students should learn two languages and the effects that it has on the brain as far as making you um, uh, not so much more intelligent, but giving you what we call intellectual flexibility. When you have two languages, you're just able to see things differently than someone who only speaks one language.
So what are some activities that you're involved in?
Well, I was on the Chicano graduation committee. I was one of the president of that committee, so we put together the graduation ceremony for all of the Chicano and Latino students graduating when I did back in 1985. And I was involved in intramural sports. I played intramural basketball, I played intramural flag football, and spent a lot of time just playing basketball and intramurals on several teams.
So, overall, what is some important advice that you can give to someone who is going to college or is applying for college?
Well, the most important piece of advice I would give anyone going to college is to definitely go to office hours. Some of my best education came not during my classes, but actually meeting with my professors during office hours. When I was confused about something, I would go talk to my professors, and my professors would help me out by giving me advice on how to either finish writing a paper or get a paper started or let me know some key items that might be on tests. So that would be one thing. The second thing would be always turn things in early. If you turn things in early, your professors can go over them and then give you a chance to redo them before final due dates. So always go to class, first of all, because in college you're not going to be, no one's going to take roll, no one's going to force you to go to class. So go to class, turn things in early, and always get to know your professors during office hours.
Then my final question would be, for someone who's currently in high school right now, what can they do to help go to college, prepare for college, and to get accepted into a college?
Well, definitely you want to take as many AP classes as possible. You want to take tough classes. You want to make sure that you fulfill your A through G requirements and not just take the minimum classes under the A through G requirements, but take, because a lot of times the A through Gs will say this is what you need to take, but this is what is recommended. So always take what is recommended. And if you have office hours at your own school, practice going to office hours. Practice being organized. Make sure you have everything organized in your notebooks and your binders. Go to class. Try not to miss class. And talk to your teachers. Your teachers are your best resources. Talk to them. Ask for extra help. And practice for the SATs, because the SATs are what colleges are looking for beyond your GPA. Practice for that SAT and be involved in activities. Be involved in sports or clubs. Don't overwhelm yourself, but be involved in some sports or some clubs because colleges are looking for that. And get your community service done because colleges are always looking for well-rounded individuals who are not only doing well in the class, not only doing well in their clubs or sports, but also fulfilling their community service hours.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.